Thank you so much. It's crowded in here, but that's a sign that this is a wonderful evening. I want to point out some things. We are marking our 25th anniversary. We started at Smith Brothers in Fort Washington with a Pearl Harbor veteran and 40 people. We quickly outgrew that, and we've been here for 23 years. There's some people here that were at our very first meeting and the very first year. Particularly, I want to point out Colin Standell. For the first 5 years, he and his wife, Kathy, raise your hand high, he was a co-founder. So Colin, what we started 25 years is still going strong. So I want to thank you for your many contributions to put this together. Now, Ron Korb, where are you? Ron, you're a Navy veteran. Raise your hand high. You were at the very first meeting. Mike and Dave Greenberger, you came the first year. Doug and Mary Rollins were at the very first one. Doug, where are you? Raise your hand. So, we have many loyal attenders. And this is not my club. It's not the American Legion's club. It's yours. We're just a name. Metro Milwaukee Military Historians. We have no club officers. We have no bank account. We are loosely structured. And thank you for your contribution. Because if you don't attend, nobody's here and we can't pay the bills. So as long as you attend, I'll do the work to find the speakers. Now, we have a few. I'm going to say hi to first-time attenders and then tell you what we have the next month, and then we'll get rolling. John Morrell, you brought your wife Kathy all the way here from Cedarburg. Kathy, raise your hand. She's a first-time attender. Stand up. We can't see you. Kathy Morrell. Every month we will inform you what our topic is. It's always third Monday, but we take a break in the summer. Our next one is the 19th of January. Don't know yet who it's going to be. We'll announce that to you. Now, without further ado, we have an unusual service here. And we'll introduce our speaker, LIRAN, in a little bit. But because this is Hanukkah, he has brought a Hebrew rabbi. Would you come up here, Rabbi? And we'll have you introduce what you're going to do for us. Folks, you can really help me if you don't talk one another, because it's very distracting when I hear you talking. Can you please help?
I need some notes.
Thank you.
Not mine.
Rabbi, I want you to introduce yourself in a bit. But first of all, this is Hanukkah. You have a room full of people here. Some are Christian believers of various denominations. Some are atheists. Some are agnostics. You have a whole wide audience here of close to 140 people. So many know a little bit about Hanukkah, but I bet you know a lot more. So welcome to our group. Introduce yourself and tell us what you're going to share about the menorah and so forth. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Menachem Rappaport. Menachem is my first name. You want to try it? Pretty good. And Rappaport is my last name. And happy Hanukkah to all of you.
Happy Hanukkah.
I am a rabbi with the Peltz Center for Jewish Life here in Mequon. And I want to first of all start off by saluting all of you veterans here tonight, men and women. Thank you for your service. God bless you. It's a perfect night connecting to the story of Hanukkah to talk about veterans and what it means to fight for God and country. And so what I would like to do, since many of you are familiar with Hanukkah and some of you aren't, I'm going to give a brief overview about the story, the history, the heritage of Hanukkah. I was told I have 5 minutes, and then we have a 2-minute observance that we'll do together by lighting the actual Hanukkah candles. Now, one thing that crosses all culture is food. Anyone here like food? Food. One way to celebrate Hanukkah is to eat food, but special foods that are fried in oil. Don't tell your cardiologist, but I will get to that in a moment. But first, I have a veteran story as well. I'm a veteran of 31 years of marriage to my wonderful wife. Can you stand up for 1 second? Yes, please. So, I get a little respect for that.
Who else is here from our Jewish community? Many of you came in late, so we did not acknowledge. Kim Queen, you've been here before. You've been here.
Peter.
Ron. But first-time attenders, we're talking about first-time attenders. Bonnie, stand up. Bonnie Thorne, she is Fred's wife. Glad to have you here.
This is not part of my 5
Who did we miss? Did we miss anybody? Erin?
Eric and Steve.
What, real loud, your name? Bob Prince, thank you. Who have we forgotten?
Eric and Steve over there.
Eric and Steve, wave your hand. Glad you're here with us. Now, without further ado, please continue.
Who remembers my name? All right. Thank you. And what is the most popular Hanukkah food? Latkes. Potatoes fried in oil. All right, so we're going to do a quick story about Hanukkah. But first, I got to tell you something about Passover. Yes, believe it or not, in this very room, we celebrated 2 Passover Seders in the early 2000s when we had a young Jewish community here in Grafton, and we had lots of people who wanted to have a Seder. And so the Legion Hall here made itself available, and we set up a Passover Seder here, Orthodox style, in this very room. So it's all connected. 2,189 years ago, the story of Hanukkah took place. And what was the story of Hanukkah? So imagine we take ourselves back to the land of Israel, the ancient Jewish homeland. And there, in Jerusalem, the capital of our country, stood on the Temple Mount the Holy Tabernacle. The temple, first one built by King Solomon, the son of King David, and after 410 years it was destroyed by the Babylonians. 70 years later it's rebuilt by the Jewish people returning from Babylon, and it is going to last 420 years. During this Second Temple era, we're going back to the year 167 BCE, is when Alexander the Great, who had conquered the whole Middle East, had 3 generals, making this very short, and these 3 generals divided up the land. There was the one in the south in Egypt, the one in the north in the Syrian area, and those are the 2 that had Israel right caught in the middle. And of course, people were fighting over the land of Israel because Israel paid taxes to whoever the boss was, and folks wanted the taxes, the power, and the access. So the Jewish people in Israel at that time find themselves trapped in a very difficult time and place, and the leadership are the high priests that run the operation in the Holy Temple on a day-to-day basis. It got so bad, basically the Romans were starting to shake their power, and Antiochus Epiphanes IV, who was the general who became the dictator, the ruler over the north, began to pressure the Jews more and more, paying higher and higher taxes, but that didn't bring them to their knees. And so he began to enact decrees to not allow the Jewish people to practice their heritage, their faith. You can't study Torah, you can't observe the Sabbath, you can't circumcise your children. And in fact, they went further and began to erect pagan altars in the Jewish holy places of worship. This was just too much. And so, drum roll please, everyone hear the Maccabees? The Maccabees, the Jewish hammer. So Judah Maccabee and his 4 brothers, they begin to organize a revolt against Antiochus Epiphanes and his army. And that's what they do. They hide in the hills, they start guerrilla warfare. They're way outnumbered, not just in numbers, but these are a bunch of people who really haven't practiced warfare, fighting against organized armies, war elephants, soldiers with all the hardware that they needed. And they began to fight back. They said, we cannot live life without freedom. Give me liberty. We have to fight for our homeland. We have to fight for God and country. And we have to be able to have the freedom to worship our faith as we wish and not be forced to bring up pagan sacrifices in our holy worship space. And this is what happened. And the war lasted, it was on and on again, off again, until after many successes and unfortunately so many failures, thousands and thousands of Jewish people who were living in the Holy Land at the time were slaughtered in the streets during these campaigns. But eventually, 3 years later, approximately 3 years later, the Jewish people come to the temple and they have control. They clean up the mess and they rededicate the temple. Now, one of the main daily practices and observances in the temple was lighting the beautiful candelabra. There was a candelabra that was a centerpiece in the temple, in the hall itself, and the priest, the high priest, would go and light it every morning. And it had to be lit with a very special kind of oil, pure olive oil that was made in purity and had a special seal of purity that was put on it by the high priest himself. Any other oil could not be used, would not be used, because it would be profaning this godly, sacred practice. And so the enemy knew this, and they had not taken away all the oil, but they simply went from storeroom to storeroom, from room to room, from shelf to shelf, and they broke all the seals of purity so that none of the oil was usable for the menorah. It was all defiled. Well, after much searching, one of the volunteers found one small container of oil that would have been enough to last for one day. And the second miracle of Hanukkah happened. The first miracle was that the Maccabees, a small untrained band of Jews, were able to drive off a high-powered enemy that were outnumbered them amazingly. It was a victory, a battle of victory, a miraculous victory. And the second miracle is that since it would take 8 days to get more oil, they had to travel, they had to press the olives, bring the oil, filter it, and so on. It would take 8 days to be able to prepare new, holy, sacred oil for the menorah, and there would be a week in between with no oil to burn. And yet God performed a miracle. This little bit of oil that should have only lasted one day lasted 8 days. And so every year since then, the Jewish people observe Hanukkah all over the world by lighting a menorah. A menorah is a candelabra. This one has 8 plus 1. I'll talk about that in a second. And another modern Hebrew word for this is Chanukiah. It's the implement we use for Chanukah. Chanukah means to dedicate or rededicate the temple. And so we light this. Now you notice there's a little problem here. We ran out of candles. There's only 3 candles where there should be 9. So what's really happening over here? Some of you know, and some of you are going to learn, that while in the temple all the candles were lit every single day, or the olive containers were lit every single day, because we have a miracle with a deep message. The message of Hanukkah is, whatever you did today is not enough. You need to do more tomorrow. All living things must grow. We have to find some way to add light, to add love, to add kindness, to add hope, to add faith in everything that's important, that matters in our life. So on the first night of Hanukkah, we light 1 candle. And on the second night, we light 2. And then 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 until all the candles are lit. In the center, there's a candle that stands a little higher. This is called, say it with me, the shamash. Shamash. The shamash is a service candle, and the rabbis instituted that we have an extra candle because the lights of the menorah are sacred, and one should not benefit directly from them to read or to see something closely or to enjoy their light, because they're sacred, not for personal use. So we always have an extra candle, the shamash, the service candle. That's the one we use to light all the other candles or for personal benefit. All right, we are going to say 2 blessings tonight in Hebrew.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to go kill this light when it's time to light. Sir, I'm going to be over there. You give me the signal when I should kill this, for everybody can see the light.
What's the right signal?
Just raise your hand.
Mazel tov. That's the signal.
We got a candle?
I'm going to ask LIRAN, our guest speaker tonight, who is also a veteran of the Israeli Defense Forces,
Still serving.
and is still serving.
Yeah.
He's in reserves.
To hold.
To light it. No, I'm going to hold it. You're going to light
I
it.
already lit one today.
Okay.
So I'm,
You know what? Then I'll light it.
Okay.
Okay. So you hold it for me. I'm just going to light. I didn't give you the signal. Very good. All right. This is the service candle.
Your microphone.
This is the service candle. What's it called? Shamash. Shamash. All right. If you know the blessing, you can sing it along with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehamik ner shel Chanukah.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavoteinu bayamim hahem bizman hazeh.
Amen. Only me?
These wicks are very long, so they have to go up.
Okay.
Hold this 1 second. If we don't lift the wicks up, they're going to create some trouble, as the one on the left is doing. All right. I'm going to let the fire department handle this. Set that right down over there. Before I say goodbye, and thank you for this warm and beautiful welcome, and we say Happy Hanukkah, Mazel Tov to all of you. I know there's a number of Jewish people here, or some of you might have Jewish friends that are not familiar with Hanukkah, so I left on the table over here a whole handful of extra Hanukkah menorahs, extra Hanukkah candles. If you don't have them, take them home. There's also a beautiful brochure for people of all faiths called 7 Points of Light, different dimensions based on the 7 Noahide laws to bring light into your life. This is optional. Enjoy. God bless you all. God bless America. Happy Hanukkah. Happy holidays. Happy holidays.
Okay.
Why don't we take a 30-second stretch? No talking. Just stand up for 30 seconds. That's all I'm asking you. But it's just a nice little break before we begin. Just keep your talking down.
So far, so good. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, that's your 30 seconds. We're going to get rolling. I thought you could use that. Please be seated. Now, also, folks, hold your conversations. It really helps us. You don't need to talk right now. I forgot one of our first-time attenders. Mark Canterbury, you brought somebody with, Bill Andropoulos, and you're a Marine Corps veteran, recon in Vietnam. Where are you sitting? Thank you. We forgot you, but thanks for your service. Maybe we'll have him come back and speak. So, without further ado, I'm going to go dim the lights. Let's have a hand for LIRAN. LIRAN, welcome. You have a lot to share with us now, and there's a clock on the wall. You've got a good hour, and then we'll have a question and answer period. So you take it from here. We can't wait to hear what you have to share with us.
Thank you so much, and thanks everybody for the warm welcome. I gave this talk a few times before, but I never did it after drinking beer. So you'll have to go easy on me. So my name is LIRAN GERASSI. I was born 40 years ago in a small town called Jerusalem. Maybe you heard of, maybe you read about it. As you can hear from my name and my accent, you're probably guessing I'm French, right? Good?
Or Italian.
Italian, yeah. I told Ken that I can do it without my Israeli accent, but he wanted to pay for the full experience and get the full experience of the accent and everything, so you'll have to deal with it now. So I'm going to tell you my personal story of going back to participate in the war in Gaza. It's not a heroic story. If anyone expected a heroic story, you can leave now. It's not a heroic story, but it's a very personal point of view or first-hand report from the war. The reason why I'm here in Milwaukee, out of all places, you're probably wondering, is my family, or more correct to say, my wife. My wife was appointed 2 years ago in August of 2023 to be the cultural emissary, the Israeli cultural emissary to the Jewish community of Milwaukee. That's nice. You have counterparts of my wife almost in every Jewish community of America, in America. Now she teaches the local community about Israel, she leads delegations, and she does many things to get the Jewish community closer to Israel and vice versa. Now, we arrived here, it was amazing, it was like a dream. You probably know what you have here, you know your turf. It was amazing. We arrived here in August, the weather was amazing. They frightened us, they told us to wear warm clothes and stuff, but the weather was warm, not just the weather, The people were so friendly and so smiley to us, at least at the beginning. It took some time until we found out about the Midwest nice thing. So people are nice at the beginning, right? Most of them are still nice to us now. But it was really like a beginning of a dream. We came here thinking, okay, she needs to represent the people of Israel in a very tough time when there are political issues in Israel. There is, I don't know if you heard about judicial reform stuff. So we said she's going to have some hard time, but it will be okay. We'll have good time here, and everybody is so friendly to us. Because of the beer, I sometimes need to look to my cheat sheet here, so forgive me. Yeah, so my daughters came here with zero English. Even my dog didn't speak. Still doesn't. So we were really adjusting here, but we really were getting used to a great place. Something that I really remember was the Jewish holiday. Now you're probably thinking that they have so many holidays, right? But no. It was a big Jewish holiday. It's called Simchat Torah of 2023. And the evening of this holiday, we went to a synagogue. We went to a mixed synagogue because what we have in Israel, it's usually women and men are separated. And here it was a great chance. It was the first time I ever went to a synagogue with my wife and daughters in my life. And I remember looking at my wife in the synagogue, and we were both thinking, how lucky we are. It's such an amazing experience. We went home so happy, knowing that we made the right decision, and then the next morning was October 7th, 2023. Many of the men, and maybe women too, will relate to what I'm going to say now. I woke up maybe 3 times that night to go to the bathroom. One of the times that I woke up, I looked at my phone, because that's what I did during the night, first few months here, because Israel is just waking up, and I saw messages being sent from all over. Something's happening in Israel. Something terrible is happening in Israel, and I was so far away, not only geographically, not only physically, but I was so in a different mode, in a different mood. I remember I asked my family in Jerusalem, did you have any sirens? And they said, yeah, we already had twice. 2 sirens went off. And I was, because they usually don't fire missiles at Jerusalem. So I said, wow, that's crazy. And then they said something, what do you mean crazy? What's crazy is what's happening in the south. And then I got exposed to everything that happened. And Israel was in quite big of a shock for a few days. 2 days later, we received a message in one of our WhatsApp groups saying my cousin's son was killed in this attack. It's a good opportunity to commemorate him. He was part of the tank crew that rushed to the Nova Festival, to the music festival. Have you heard of the music festival that was attacked? So they rushed with a tank there. They saved lives of hundreds. They killed hundreds of terrorists, but only the driver survived from this crew, and Ophir, unfortunately, was shot many times and was killed. We just had a rabbi here. He had a nickname, the rabbi of the family, because he was so observant and so knowledgeable in Judaism. So yeah, it's a good opportunity to commemorate him. Shortly after, so interestingly enough, August of 2023, just a month before we came here, I had a 20 years reunion for our basic training company. So we all gathered in some place. Most of us weighing much more than weighing, much more heavy, much heavier than we enlisted. But it was so much fun seeing all the guys from basic training, and so we started a group chat, and we kept in touch. And after the war broke out, so many people texted, "I'm going to the north, I'm going to the south." They recruited me to go this, go there. I came here. It's interesting. If you'd asked me before the war broke out, if I would ever go back to Israel during the time that we're here for 3 years, I would tell you there's no reason to go back. Why would I go? Maybe for reserve service? No, when I came here, I was here you call it disabled veteran. So I still am a disabled veteran. I was discharged of service. I didn't need to go back, and I didn't think I'm going to ever go back to serve. But it seemed like almost 100% of my friends, my two brothers, I have a twin brother and a younger brother, and my two brothers-in-law were serving at this time, reservists. So I was sitting here, it was already snowy, and you can imagine the contrast. Me sitting on a lovely white weekend morning with a Bloody Mary in my hand, and all of my friends are serving. So you can imagine how I felt. Okay, still beer. And then two things happened that kind of shook my world. This is Yossi Hershkovitz. Yossi Hershkovitz was a Special Forces soldier when he was younger. Here he's already 43. He's a musician, but his day job is a school director, a school principal. Had 6 kids, and he went to serve, and he fell. He was killed in Gaza at the age of 43 with 6 kids at home, and a school he left behind. Now, the excuses I made for myself not to go back were what were the excuses, you think? Family. I'm leaving a family here. It's not just that I have kids, and I'm not old, but the beer, the Bloody Mary, right? Packer games. Many different excuses, but then I said to myself, and another excuse, by the way, was that my family was still adjusting here. My daughters didn't speak English. My wife and I were getting adjusted to a new country, a new language, a new culture. But then Yossi was killed. Yossi is a childhood friend of mine. We haven't been in touch for the past few years, but he's a childhood friend of mine. And I said to myself, he had 6 kids and he went to fight. And he was 43. Why should I stay here? I don't know if you know, usually when I do it to a Jewish audience, they know this guy. This guy's name is Idan Amedi. He's a singer and an actor. He was discovered in a reality singing contest. Have you ever watched Fauda? No, you should. Have you watched Fauda? The Jewish? Yeah, I know. You watched Fauda. So you should see. You should look at the screen. Okay, good. Hebrew. So he was one of the actors there. He grew up in my neighborhood. We're not friends or anything, but he was a celebrity, an Israeli celebrity. In his active duty and later on in reserve, he served for the combat engineering forces of the IDF. And started the war. He immediately posted a picture of himself with uniform. And everybody said, no, it's just a PR stunt or something like that. He couldn't be. He's too famous and too rich and has too much to lose to go to the fighting. And I think it was February of 2024, he was he went in with a truck of explosives, and it exploded by mistake, and he was there. And he was severely injured, and 4 of his soldiers died. He was their commander, and they died in this incident. So, thinking of Yossi Erkovitz, thinking of Idan Amedi, you understand where I'm getting at. I said to myself, I have to be there. I have to do something and be there. But I was still a disabled veteran, so I don't have a unit to go to, even if I wanted. So there was a friend of mine who texted me, the military now brings back soldiers who are discharged more easily. I know that you tried many times before, because I did. I tried many times before to go back, and he told me now it's easier because the military needs more soldiers. You should try it now. Now he is a battalion commander. He was, what's the rank? How do you say Sgan Aluf? Lieutenant Colonel? Okay, I planted you here for a reason. Come on. And he said, okay, I can get you to my unit if you want. I said, okay, let's go, let's do it. Now, because I'm an officer, he wanted to bring me to one of his companies to be a deputy company leader. So we did all the process of bringing me back to service, canceled my discharge status, and then he called me a few days later. He said, "Liran, I've succeeded. You're back in the military. You're enlisted. You're in the army now, if you know." And I said, "Great. Okay. So when do you need me?" So he said, no, there's one small problem. You know the company that they wanted you to be the deputy commander of? So they have a new company leader. The problem is he's 24 and you're 38. And he doesn't want you there. He doesn't want you as his deputy. Not because he thinks you're old, but because he doesn't want to be intimidated by someone that old. So he said, but you can look for another unit if you want. So I told my friends that I'm looking for a unit to go to. And one of my friends sent me an interesting ad. Combat soldiers and officers are required for this unit. Okay, that suits me. What happened? Okay, I don't have my cheat sheet anymore. I have to remember what I said. So I texted this number on the ad, and the guy there said, okay, he wanted to find out that I have all the requirements. The ad said, this unit needs soldiers or officers with 3 different criteria. One is the certain infantry training, so I checked it, and over the age of 35,
Ta-da.
perfect, I checked it. But the last one was high mental resilience. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe I have it, maybe I don't have it, but I checked it. I was curious to know what kind of unit needs a high mental resilience. So the guy there called me back, and we scheduled a Zoom meeting, and he told me, okay, oh, sorry, did you see? Okay. He asked me, because he was about my age, he asked me, do you remember this photo? Now this, for Israelis, is a very famous and known photo. There was an incident of like an armored vehicle in Gaza going next to the border with explosives, and it exploded with young soldiers in it, and it was a huge spread of their body parts. Sorry for that. At least you're not eating anymore. There was a big spread of their body parts, and this photo became famous because they sent the friends of the fallen soldiers to look for their body parts in the desert. And there was a big outrage about it in Israel. How come you send 18 years old or 19 years old soldiers to search for body parts? What are you thinking? So he told me, now we have a unit that does it. It's called the Yasal, and this is our unit. Do you want to do it? So of course I said no. No, I said yes, otherwise I wouldn't be here. So I told him, you know what? If it will prevent one young soldier from doing this job, then I'm willing to come. Of course, it sounded terrible, but I said I have to do something. And so I enlisted to this unit. Now, so this unit, that's what they do. They scan, they go into the battlefield after something terrible happens there, and they scan to find body parts of the fallen soldiers. What do you think are the purposes of, or the goals of this kind of a unit? Why do they even do it? Okay, why? Sorry?
It's a matter of faith.
It's a matter of faith. In Judaism, it's really important to bring all body parts to proper burial. So that's the dignity of the dead. That's one reason. What could be another reason?
Leave no one behind.
Leave no one behind, right? We also, what do you say? Family. So letting the family know, giving them some kind of certainty to know what happened with their loved one. And what could be the third one? To allow continuity to the unit. Not like in this case of the photo that the same unit had to stop all their missions and everything they did to look for their friends. Now they can move on and go on with their missions, and there's a different unit that does it. Okay, quick story. November of 2023, just a month after the massacre, I think Ari was there. We went to DC. You were there? Yeah. There was a rally to support Israel in DC, and the ones who were there were Jewish communities from all over the country, and also some Christian communities from all over the country. Went to DC to show support to Israel. They gave away, I hate to say merchandise, but it was kind of like swag is even worse. So there were signs and there were pins of wait, I actually brought some of this swag here. Pins of the hostages to show support. So I grabbed randomly from a big bucket of pins, I grabbed this pin. You see it on my shirt here? And this was a female hostage, Karina Arayev. I knew nothing about her. I just knew that her name was Karina. Yeah, not such a great audience. I thought you'd be quicker. You don't have to say it in my accent. You can say it how you say it. Her name is Karina, and she was 19 when she was kidnapped. And the reason why I'm telling this story about Karina and this pin is I used to wear it on my, or pin it to my backpack, this backpack actually. And when I went to serve, when I was called up to this unit, there wasn't a moment during the flight to Israel and during the train ride to Jerusalem and during the light train ride to my parents' house that I didn't regret going back. I was, why am I doing it for so long? I haven't served. I don't know if the uniform even fit me anymore. I'm so out of it. I'm so out of context now. Why am I even doing it? And I'm leaving my family behind, and I may get killed there. I don't know what will happen. And then I went by my old high school. So my old high school is in the same neighborhood where my parents live, so I went by it with the light rail, and I saw a big sign on the fence of the high school. So the big sign said, you probably can't read Hebrew.
But it says Karina.
It says Karina, that's right. And it says, the Teddy Kollek High School, that's the name of the high school, calls for the immediate and peaceful release of Karina Rayev, graduate of our school. And I was looking at my backpack, seeing this pin, looking at the sign, and for some reason it gave me a sign. It was like, okay, now I know what I'm doing here. I know why God sent me here. There is a reason for everything. There is a reason why it happened. So I was ready to go. Later on, there was footage of her released from captivity. So this was Karina. Again, I found out more details about her, but she kind of became my favorite hostage. Speaking of sign from God, when I got to the unit, one of the Orthodox guys came to me and said to me, you know what? You seem like a believing Jew. I want to show you something. And he opened the Bible, and he showed me a verse from Judges. The verse, you do read Hebrew, right? Yeah. Okay. So that's what the verse said. So the verse was right after the one that Samson was killed in, if you remember. You remember the story of Samson?
Yeah.
He broke the building apart. He died with all of his enemies. And the next verse tells the story of his family, but the interpretation of it is it wasn't really his family, it was his friends and his community, went down to Gaza to get his body back to burial. And he told me, you see, it happened so long ago, it happened in the Bible. That's what we're doing here. That's why our values made us start this unit. So these are the main three missions that I found out when I got there. It's rescuing bodies and body parts, as I said earlier, but it's also, we went to some missions of, you know that there were many dead hostages. They killed them in Israel and then kidnapped their bodies. So whenever there were bodies buried, like unrecognized bodies, we dug those fields and took their bodies for examinations. And in some cases, we did find bodies of our hostages in those mass graves or stuff. So this was another mission that we did. And the other one was, there were still, when I was there, it was kind of the beginning of the war, and there were still some, some hostages or missing people who we didn't know if they are hostages. We didn't know if they're alive or dead. So for more information, we did scanning next to the border, across the border, to find out more evidence about some of the missing people. So these were the three main missions. This just a video of the first time I went into Gaza. It was really interesting. This was the way there. Obviously, I didn't know what I'm going to see there. It was really interesting. This is me, by the way. You can't recognize me. It could be any other person, right? But you believe me, right? Good. You shouldn't. You don't know me yet. This was how my first time in Gaza looked like. It was for a standby mission. It wasn't for an actual body searching mission, but still was the first time. Yeah, there's some other footage from. It's really interesting to see the helicopter part. So I know you sometimes hear helicopters here, right?
Yeah.
For us, for 6 weeks that I was there, helicopter, especially when we were inside Gaza and saw a helicopter coming in, we knew that something happened. We knew that we need to be alert because they're going to call us in a minute. Because usually when a helicopter goes in, it means wounded soldiers who need to be evacuated. And almost whenever there was a wounded soldier, there were also casualties. So this was kind of our sign. Okay. Now, we were going in and out of Gaza, and sometimes we were standby inside Gaza, but sometimes we were on standby in our military base in Israel. And interesting that one of the most interesting things that happened to me during this service happened to me when I was in the base. So we were sitting, waiting for nothing in the base, making fun of stuff. And suddenly my friend gets a text message saying, there are 300 drones and 500 missiles on the way to Israel from Iran. Sounds frightening, right? And then a few hours later, this is what we saw. Can you see the... Oh, now you can see.
That's the Iron Dome.
Yeah, that's the Iron Dome intercepting you. So it was kind of apocalyptic feeling. The entire sky, and it was dark, the entire sky was covered with missiles going our way and going their way to intercept them. It was, is it really happening? You can imagine. You're like, is it a dream? Is it really happening? So that was kind of frightening and strange. And the sound of sirens don't help in it. Yeah, I went there. My 6 weeks there was, I wouldn't say were uneventful. Unfortunately, there were some events, but mostly I felt like I'm the new guy in the unit, and many of the people who served in this unit since October 7th got severe PTSD and went out. So that's why they recruited more soldiers like me who were discharged, and now they need them. So they had a big need of new soldiers. But the ones who remained there had so many stories to tell, and I was the new guy. I was the one who never heard these stories. So I felt like, oh, I'm going to get PTSD just from hearing those stories, because these were some crazy stories. Obviously, the villages in Israel on the border, they went in there at the start of the war, October 7th, so burned down, everything was burned down, bodies, entire families burned down in these houses or suffocated. They saw kids, babies, yeah, terrible. At first they were the only unit to cross the border to get the body parts of, so the IDF at the beginning, the helicopters attacked some of the cars that ran back to Gaza. So the IDF attacked them without knowing or with knowing that they have hostages inside. So the IDF needed to go in, and it was this unit really rescuing body parts and stuff from within. Every time there was a multi-casualty incident, like the one of the singer, Idan Amedi, with this explosive truck blowing up. So they told me that when they went in, one of the soldiers there, because you always ask what happened so you know how much you need to scan, where, and everything. So they asked what happened, and one of the soldiers said, Idan Amedi, the singer, died here. They thought he was dead because it was such a huge explosion, and they had to scan in a radius of 1 mile from the place of the explosion. So yeah, so terrible stories. Now, one of the scanning that we did was right next to a kibbutz, a village called Be'eri. I don't know if you heard the name, but that's one of the villages that suffered the hardest massacres. So it was a closed military zone. No one could get in, but because we were doing stuff around, they let us in, and one of the first responders also gave us like a tour to everything that happened there. So crazy stories. In this house, there was a family that managed to escape through the window. The dad went out to try and fight and save his family. The mom and the 2 kids hid in a bush, and the terrorists, when they ran back to Gaza, they ran into them and just shot them, and they were killed in the last minutes of the attack. And the old man who told his wife, go hide in the shelter, because we all have shelters in our houses, unfortunately. And he sat there like he sat in the living room, drank his tea, pretended like he lived there by himself, and they shot him and went, and that's how his wife was saved. So many different kinds of stories from that day. Yeah. Okay. So I was already back here in Milwaukee in the snow and the Bloody Marys. And I was kind of, even though I served for 6 weeks, I still had the feeling of kind of missing out. Okay, my entire family, my brothers-in-law, my brother. This is my brother, Stav Gerassi. Can you pronounce Stav? Pretty easy, right? It's kind of like Steve, in a way. Only, hi Steve. Only it's not Steve. It's not the Israeli version of Steve. It means fall, as like the season, fall, in Hebrew. He's my younger brother, even though he looks bigger and he's a higher rank than I am. He's a major and I'm a captain. So, because when I didn't serve anymore, he kept on serving reserve. At some point, I knew he was in Gaza too, but he really begged me not to tell our mom, that he was in Gaza. And at some point, my brother-in-law, which is the guy with the beard, Hanan, my wife's brother, he texted us in the group chat a photo of him and my brother in Gaza. And my mom wasn't on this group, don't worry. But immediately my brother sent me a message saying, I know you know I'm in Gaza now, but don't tell mom anything, please. And I remember texting them back saying, I wish I was there with you, and that wasn't just me saying it. I literally went on to Skyscanner, that's where I booked my flight, and booked the flight to go back. Seeing them together in Gaza, risking their lives, and I'm here, made me go crazy and search for my way back to serve. I contacted my unit, even though I really didn't want to go back to serve there, but that was my unit, and I contacted them, and they said, there's a different company now serving in Gaza, and they have kind of a full house, they don't need any more soldiers. If you want to go back, you can look for another unit, and we will let you, it's called, in the IDF, it's called, we will lend you to the other unit. Like a piece of meat, I felt. we'll lend you to this other unit if you want. And I found the unit, I will tell you about it later, and I booked a flight, and I was supposed to have a flight on Thursday. And then on Wednesday, a day before I was gonna, my mom already knew I'm going back, and she called me and said, Liran, Stav was wounded in Gaza. We're rushing to the hospital now. Cancel your flight now. Don't go back. I don't need another son in Gaza when a son of mine is hospitalized because he was wounded. They got to the hospital. They told me we're with Stav now. He was hit by a mortar shell in one of the operations in Gaza. 2 soldiers next to him were killed, and he got shrapnel here. Shrapnel, you say?
Yeah.
Help me with the English, please. Okay. He was really lucky because it got stuck here. It could, the same way it could have got stuck in other places. So it was a big miracle. So she called me. My mom called me and said, "We're with Stav now. He will be okay. We're hoping. Have you canceled your flight yet?" And I told her, "No. This made me want to come even more." So she said, "That's what your father said you're going to say," and hung up the phone. Yeah, moms know, definitely. So the unit I went into was the 8th Armored Brigade. And this new unit that started was a lesson from the Ukraine war. So one thing they learned, and you guys in the US military learned a long time ago, in that when you have a kind of a prolonged war that never ends, you need different logistic methods or systems. And the IDF realized it after a year in Gaza that we now have more advanced military posts, and we need to provide the soldiers there with their needs. So they started, in every brigade, they started new units of combat soldiers to deliver the logistics. So it was mostly convoys, going in Gaza all day long, moving stuff from here to there, getting a doctor to go around between the posts, getting water in, getting fuel, gas in, even getting porta potties to the. I promise you, it's not going to be a heroic story, right? So even getting porta potties inside, everything that the soldiers inside need, and sometimes even moving units from place to place or getting them into their front positions to an attack or to a kind of an operation. So this was, the trucks one was very interesting because, where? How do I do it? Okay. So this was one of the missions I led there, was a mission of building a new military post in Gaza, and we needed like 7 huge trucks to lead them in and out. And you see how slow it goes, and you can imagine how it feels to go so slow in a battlefield. So it was always like, where is the RPG going to come from? Where is the IED going to be? It was super scary. I like this kind of paparazzi photo of me because it reminds me that when I enlisted to this unit, when I joined this unit, I didn't tell anyone that I'm an officer. I thought, okay, this time I want to be just a soldier. I didn't wear my ranks. I don't want any responsibility. I felt like I forgot everything I knew about the military. I want just to serve as a soldier in there, and it was dangerous enough. I didn't need extra responsibility. But then the reason why this photo is funny is because I'm begging a driver, okay, we have one more mission to go. You know, sometimes it's so hard to be responsible. The reason why I eventually ended up as the platoon commander there, I went there without my boots. I lost my military boots. And when you need new military boots in the IDF, you need to go on like a trial. Like you need to be judged for losing it, and then they give you something back, whether you have to pay something or not. So the battalion commander judged me, and he said, "Don't worry, you're not going to have to pay anything. I'm going to let you off and give you the boots." But he said, "Okay, I'm filling it up, the form of the complaint, and I think it has an error, a mistake on it, because it says there you're a captain."
Busted.
So I told him, "Yeah, I know, I'm a captain." And he said, "So why aren't you wearing the ranks?" So one of the times I gave this talk, someone told me, "You should have said that your ranks were in your boots that you lost," right? But I wasn't smart enough to say that. I told him, "No, I came here as a soldier." And said, "That's not how it works. Wear your ranks." So I wore some other officer's ranks, and then the company leader came to me, "Liran, you're a captain, you're an officer? That's such a coincidence. We need to open a new platoon in a company, and you're going to lead it."
Congratulations.
Exactly. The gift they never wanted to get, right? So that was this period of time. We went through convoys, sometimes at night. At night, anyone ever used like the night vision in battlefield here?
Yeah.
You know how scary it is? So seeing everything in green and quiet. So and flat. This was a funny incident. My friend Gadi and he was my sergeant at this platoon. We went to some mission, and suddenly we got contacted by the radio from the war room. They said, "Pettenstein, our crew, you have to stop now." So we stopped. And we asked why. So they said, "There is a sniper on one of the buildings. He already shot the previous convoy that went there. You have to stop. You can't go there." So we hid behind one of the buildings, and we asked them, "We have a mission to take care of. What are you doing about this sniper?" And they said, "Don't worry, wait there. We'll let you know." And suddenly we heard the drone flying very low altitude, and we heard the biggest explosion that we heard in our entire life. The entire building was gone, and my sergeant said, "We have to take a selfie with this," and then they kind of, "Okay, you can go now." So we kept going. Of course, only after we took the selfie. This was another funny incident. Funny, as funny as it can get, right? We've been contacted by the war room telling us, "You need to go to this spot in Gaza." Obviously, we were already in. We have 2 armed, wounded terrorists we need you to take to medical care and then interrogation. So we went there. And we asked, "Okay, where are the wounded terrorists we need to pick up?" And they said, No, we haven't shot them yet." So we were waiting. We were waiting until they get a bit closer, and then they shot them in the legs, and we went to get them. And these were there, by the way. Yeah. They're not sitting up, no. Another type, very strange type of, you know this vehicle?
Zelda.
Right.
M113.
M113. Right, correct. The interesting thing is, when I moved here, I have a neighbor who works with Ari. Yeah, I said your name. Now you have to listen to me. No, because he's texting. He doesn't. The neighbor doesn't really work with Ari. I just wanted to get his attention. No, Josh, our mutual friend. He saw we. Really? Okay. We got friendly, and he showed me a photo of him from military service in Iraq, I think, or Afghanistan. He was all over the place. He was a sniper. And I showed him a photo of my service, and it was over a M113. And he told me something, I remember it was such an insult. He told me, like, you know, we stopped using it after Vietnam War or something, right? And I thought, we're still using it. But when I went back, I found out that we're not using it as vehicles anymore. We're using it as traps. We carry it to some place in the battlefield full of explosives, a place we want to destroy, the buildings and everything. It stays there, and then either we initiate the explosives, or if the enemy thinks it's like a vehicle or something, they fire an RPG and they explode, they bomb up their whole neighborhood, which is great. But then, you know what? Imagine going slowly in Gaza when you have such a huge barrel of explosive between your two Humvees. So that was one of the craziest types of missions we did. There was a kind of a special operation of one of our infantry units that we picked them up, like a whole company or something. Yeah, a whole company, many Humvees that you can see, trucks, in order to go and conquer another place that was previously used as a university in the Rimal neighborhood in Gaza, but now it was used like as a military base of Hamas. So we picked up the soldiers. They were all excited. We were all scared. And then what I'm going to show you now was taken from one of the front Humvees of the unit. I was somewhere in the back. I didn't even see it happen. But okay, let's try to see it. He had like a GoPro here, and this is what. He sent us this photo in the WhatsApp group, and then they said, don't share it with anyone. We don't want them to see it. Don't get them exposed to it. What do you think happened, by the way, seeing this video? It was either IED or we think it was an RPG, but the reason why we think it was an RPG was a video I found when I was already back in Milwaukee. I'm an addict of all the Telegram channels of the enemy, seeing what they share. And Hamas shared a huge success. They said, our fighters managed to target a Humvee vehicle of the enemy, and they killed the entire crew. That's what they said. Look, that's from their point of view. I was on one of the Humvees on the back. And it was chaos in the radio. It was really a chaotic moment, obviously. Oh, interesting. So what do you think happened to the crew and to the Humvee, to the vehicle? We had to change the tire. Yeah, fortunately. Yeah, this is what happened. I will use this. Okay, so this photo was taken right before my last mission. We were resting outside on the border. I saw my brother-in-law. You remember Hanan, Noah's brother, outside. We scheduled to meet there before I go to my last mission. He took a selfie, and I told him, don't send anyone this selfie before I'm back in Milwaukee, because you already jinxed my younger brother, and I don't want you to do the same to me. So wait until I'm safe in the snow and Bloody Marys in Milwaukee. And I did go for the last mission, and then he shared it with the family. It was nice. And after I went back, so my brother, who was wounded and his life was saved by a miracle, he went back like a month later. He went back to serve in Gaza. So we tried to meet in Gaza and to make like a very emotional video, because everything is social media now, right? We wanted to make a nice video of two brothers meeting in Gaza, but we couldn't. So on my way back after the last mission, back to my parents' home, I met him. He was the most depressed I've ever seen him. He had a new baby daughter, and he still had to go back. By the way, that's what he sent us. When I was already here, he sent us that he's going out to Lebanon, because the war in Lebanon started with this his son and his daughter on his hands. He named his baby daughter Hila. That's the first name. Hila in Hebrew means aura, not Ura, aura, like an aura. And her middle name is Ophir. Ophir, after our cousin that was killed in the first day on October 7th. And there is a reason why I'm mentioning it. So that's when he went to serve in Lebanon. He's much better now. You know this guy? Yahya Sinwar. So this was a famous photo of him after one of the cycles in Gaza. He was between the rubbles. He sat there on a sofa and said, "We're okay, we're doing great." One of my friend soldiers in my last mission, he told me to sit down on a couch in a former hotel, which became a military post, and said, "This will be our answer to Sinwar," and Sinwar is unalived now. And I'm here, so it's great. Yeah, this is a photo they sent me. It was very emotional for me, because my guys sent me this photo after I was already at the airport on the way back to Milwaukee, and they sent me, and they said, "We miss you, and it was a great time, and you did a great job and everything." And I was really in tears getting it and knowing that I'm going to go back now and not seeing them, because it was really tough times. We had a female soldier driver, which is amazing if you ask me. She was so cool and so calm, and I told her that if I was a normal person and my family was in Israel while I'm serving, I would get my two daughters, to meet with her in her uniform, just to inspire them how courageous she is and how amazing she is. Not even just serving, but being with a bunch of stinky guys all day. Even for me it was hard, so I can only imagine how it was for her. By the way, this was my favorite soldier. His name is Adam. And he was good with the radio and with the machine gun. He was good at everything. He was really a handy guy. Could fix stuff and everything. He still can, probably. There was a funny incident when we went We were somewhere in Gaza, and there was a family coming towards us, women and some children coming towards us, and they wanted to ask us a question. We were obviously kind of unsure about it. By the way, the reason we were unsure, for example, one of the most unfortunate incidents when I served in the first unit of the body part rescuing was we went inside to get the bodies of 3 commando soldiers, like elite forces soldiers, and obviously we asked them what happened to the other guys, and they said there was an old guy walking here. He seemed really sweet. He waved to us. We waved back. He went into a building, got an RPG missile, and fired at us. And that's how. And that's one of the reasons why we were so unsure when this whole family came to us. And they tried to ask us in Arabic, in Hebrew, in English. We didn't really understand what they wanted. So I asked my guys, anyone speaks sufficiently Arabic in a sufficient level? So one guy, Adam, came and said, yeah, I speak Arabic, and started having a conversation with them, like he spoke Arabic better than I speak Hebrew. So, and you don't know how well I speak Hebrew, so I will try you later. He explained to them how to get to the safe zone. And you can imagine it was like a kind of a movie. We were silent all the way back to our base, and then we asked him, Adam, how can you speak Arabic so well? So he said, what do you mean? I'm Arab. What do you mean, Adam? No, my name is not Adam. You call me Adam as if I was like someone from New Jersey. My name is Adam. It's an Arabic name. And we're, really? Okay, that was one of the greatest moments. Guy Dan, I will commemorate him. He was in my company. He was 51. He kept serving. He was an elite unit when he was active duty, and he kept serving. I came there. I remember when I came there, he was already serving since October 7th. I asked him, what are you doing here? Go home. And he said something like, my family is displaced because he lives up north, and the entire north was displaced. And my cousin is a hostage. I'm not going back until he goes back home. He was killed later in Lebanon, guy. He worked in a weapons factory, so he fixed all of our weapons and stuff. He was very handy with his stuff. He was a great guy. Died at 51. That's crazy, yeah, in service. Dan Amir he still is 54 years old. He was an Ironman competitor in Israel. The funniest guy I've met and the most positive guy I've met in my life. He was also part of the company. At the same incident that guy was killed, he lost his leg. I accidentally saw an interview with him. He was really funny, even though. So there's an expression in Hebrew that he used. It won't make you laugh, but it will make me laugh. He told the military reporter the entire story of how he got hurt and stuff, and then he said, "I'm telling you it on one leg," which means in Hebrew it means like briefly, but he was standing on one leg. So yeah, I told you it will only make me laugh. So on a positive note, this is Dvir. Dvir is the younger brother of Ophir, who was killed. This is my cousin Betty. She's Ophir's mother. They lost their son, and then when they had their Shiva, which is how would you describe Shiva? Mourning period. A sweet young lady came to visit and said, hi, my name is Hila, we've never met, but I dated Ophir, and we decided to hold back with dating until he gets out of the military service, and now I'm here. She came to meet the family for the first time after he was already killed, and she met Dvir, his younger brother, and they got married. And when my brother came to visit them on their engagement, for the engagement party, he came with his baby daughter. And they asked him, what's your daughter's name? And he said, Hila Ophir, which is her name and Ophir's name. And they were all like chilled from it. So it was a big moment. And this is Karina Arayev meeting her parents after she was released from captivity. So another optimistic ending to all of it. Really emotional. For the first time after, I think, a year and a half. Yeah. This was my school, my high school, celebrating her return. And Idan Ameti went back into performing. So he even did some in United States. And his album was included a picture of him and his new scar. So, yeah. Many good endings, happy endings. Thank you. Did I go too long? Okay. Thank you. Before you ask questions, I want you to remember that I told my personal story. I'm not a big general, and I'm not an ambassador, and I don't work for the Israeli government, nor do I work for the American government, as much as you know, as far as you know. Okay? So if you could please
A
ask.
couple of those guys around.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Ren, we have a question here, but first I ask you. Basic training, how long does it last? Is there a mandatory draft? How long does that last for the people? And tell us briefly, we have many questions, but address this.
So basic training could go from 8 months to 2 years or even 3 years if you're a pilot. It's not really basic anymore, but it's the training. And it depends on what unit you serve in, it depends on what you did. And what was the question about the mandatory draft?
Yeah, does everybody at age 18 or 20 have to go in, or how does
Right.
the country?
Right. In Israel, it's super different than in here. The only thing I can find as like a common denominator would be the military service serves as a social mobility vehicle in Israel, just like in here. But in Israel, you can kind of choose sometimes where you want to go, where you want to serve in terms of units and type of service, but you cannot choose not to serve. So I always joke about how many of you came to me before and said, thank you for your service. It's really funny for Israelis to hear it. Because in Israel, if you talk about the military with someone, they will immediately compare military service. Oh, you did nothing. I was there. I was here. I killed this guy. I killed that guy. So it's in Israel, everybody serves. So you have to.
One up.
Yeah, one up. Exactly. So it's so different. Here, when you see a veteran, you immediately thank them rightfully, you immediately thank them for their service. But in Israel, everybody around you served. And another thing is the higher social status or echelon you are financially and everything in Israel, the most probably you serve in a more dangerous and frontal unit. So I had a chairman in the organization that I ran in Israel. He was one of the wealthiest men in Israel, and he was a reserve major in the Navy SEALs of Israel. At the same time, he was worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but at the same time, he went once in a while to serve as a major in the Navy SEALs.
Another question.
Yeah.
If you could tell me, I can't find anywhere, what percentage of non-Jews serve in the IDF?
It's a great question. First, I must add that for non-Jews, military service is not mandatory. So they volunteer to serve. So you know that Israeli society is very diverse, especially because we have Arab Muslims like Adam. We have Arab Christians. We have Arab Druze who would kill me if I call them Arabs, but they speak Arabic. And we have some others. And within the Arab Muslims, we have Bedouins. So most of the Bedouins, or about half of the Bedouin kids, enlist to the military. The Druze, I would say 80, even 90% of the Druze, and they get to the higher ranks of the military. And the Christian Arabs enlist in big numbers. Percentage of the Israeli military who are non-Jews? I don't know, but if I would have to guess, it would be 5%. But it's worth as much as a guess.
More questions? Okay, real loud and I will relay it to him. Stand up and tell us, real loud.
I appreciate your preface, what you said you don't work for the Israeli government, so I did want to make my question a little more personal to you. A lot of even conservative alternative media say that, you know, government of Israel and the idea of collective punishment on the Gazans and things like that. From your perspective, what are some things that you have seen that the Israeli government has done to minimize civilian casualties, to kind of combat that argument, I guess from what you have seen personally?
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I think, first of all, the houses that we went near were all empty. So if you want to do a collective punishment or other buzzwords, genocide or ethnic cleansing or everything that has to do with that, you don't evacuate whole buildings where you want to attack or where you want to conquer, right? The easiest thing to do would be bombing the entire building and killing everybody there. That would be a great collective punishment, right? One of the easiest things, one of the counter collective punishment things that I did was getting all these families, and now that I knew that I had an Arabic speaker in my crew, I asked him to tell everyone, all the civilians who went there, where is the safe zone. I don't know why you need a safe zone if you want to do a collective punishment. And I'm seriously thinking that if we try to do a collective punishment and punish all the Gazans, sorry for my French, but we did a crappy job. I mean, why are there so many displaced people in Gaza? They're supposed to be dead by now, if we want to kill them all. Why are so many buildings evacuated before they're bombed? Why do we let so many Hamas activists or terrorists escape if we could just carpet bomb the entire Gaza Strip? Now, there were mass house demolitions in Gaza. That I can tell you from first-hand report. But that's what happens when you use a building for sniping. That's what will happen. And you know what? Terrible things happened in Gaza in the last 2 years. Terrible. It looks like hell in there. But it really all depends on who you point your finger to. And who you point your finger to depends on who benefits. When you see a dead baby, God forbid, in Gaza, who benefits out of it?
Hamas.
What about Israel? Does the IDF benefit out of a dead baby? So once you ask yourself who benefits out of those things happening in Gaza, out of destroyed neighborhoods, out of a bombed Catholic church in Gaza. You ask yourself, who benefited out of it? Who made a great campaign out of it? And who tried to avoid it? Then you know who you need to point your finger to.
More questions. Anybody else? Stand up first of all, lady up here, stand up and talk. June.
By the way, Kenny's in a hurry, but I will ask you if I answered your question, or if not, you can come to me later. We have a security guard here who will keep it peaceful.
June.
How long were you in the second time you returned?
Around a month, about a month, yeah.
And what do you do now?
What do I do now? It's even a crazier story. I work, being Jewish Israeli who barely speaks English, as you can see, I work for a Catholic seminary.
Doing what?
No, I'm joking. I'm actually not joking. I work for a Catholic seminary down in Franklin. I run a center called the Luck Center. We teach Judaism to future Catholic priests.
All right,
As you know, Judaism is the roots of Christianity, and the roots for any other monotheistic faith. So, yeah.
I have a very serious question for you.
Oh, okay.
Wait. Back there first.
Yeah.
Hurry up.
Thank you, Ken, for not letting me decide. Because
What's the attrition rate for the Gaza war? How many of the IDF has been killed? What percentage? Or how many?
how many soldiers, how many IDF soldiers were killed in the Gaza operation? War? 800 approximately in Gaza. Now, we did reach, 2 records were broken in this war. One is the lowest ratio of civilian casualties for militants, the lowest ratio ever in an urban warfare, and the highest number of critical condition soldiers evacuated and lives saved in a war. So right now, and I know it as an Israeli, every military force in the world send their medics to Israel to buy the equipment and to learn how to use it and how to save lives. So, yeah.
Next question.
I was going to ask, I'm probably one of those around here that was around when there was no Israel and it was developed after World War II. In your opinion, where is this all going to end? Where are we going from there? Israel is surrounded by enemies on all sides. So where are we going from there?
You want the real answer or the optimistic answer?
Well, I was going to ask you about delivering the border potties and who was going to clean them out, but decided not to.
It would be much easier to answer. Yeah, I think it's only going to get worse because it's not just a military war anymore. It's not, if it was up to just a military against another military, you saw what happened in 48, you saw what happened in 67, you personally saw it, what happened in 73. But it's not just that. It's the public opinion in the world, as the young handsome fellow asked earlier, is turning against us because they don't need to invest in weapons anymore. They just need to invest, and they do it brilliantly, in infiltrating the media and infiltrating the academia here So the entire academia is against Israel now, and the media is against Israel, and everything is a collective punishment, and everything is a genocide, and everything is apartheid, and the rest of the buzzwords used. And it's all, obviously it's truth, because see how viral it got in social media, right? It must be truth. And it kind of uproots the legitimacy of Israel to exist and to defend itself. Why? Because when you attack back, you're suddenly a war criminal. And you're suddenly the bad guy. Who would believe that after September 11, Americans would see Israel as the bad guy against Islamic terrorists? But it's happening, and it will only prolong the conflict. As long as Israel exists and the world is leaning towards the Arab side, it will only prolong the conflict, because once Egypt understood they cannot defeat us in a war, they signed a peace agreement. When Jordan understood it, they signed a peace agreement. Syria signed a treaty in 1974 after the 73 war, because they understood they cannot destroy us. If only enough countries will say, and Lebanon is saying it now, we will not manage to destroy them, let's join them, let's have business with them, let's have tourists, Lebanese tourists going to Al-Aqsa Mosque. It will be amazing going to Jerusalem. If only enough countries will decide that that's the path they choose, then the conflict will end. But many of the countries around us, they're paid so much to not decide that by Qatar and Iran that I don't see. Unfortunately, when I came back from the first service, my daughter asked me, she was 8, she asked me, in 10 years I'm going to be 18. Is there any chance that I can serve in the same place that you serve now? So we could be together in the military? And it broke my heart, because why do I need to send my little angel to serve in the military? Why? Why do Israelis know when they're 1 year old that in 17 years they're going to enlist to the military? Why? But I guess we do know the answer.
Next question, loud.
I was going to ask, over here we hear about the tunnels over there. Do you know anything about that?
The tunnels?
Yeah.
The tunnels over here?
Tunnels over there. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. The tunnels in Gaza was their main project, their main construction project. Everybody say the time that took them to build miles and miles of tunnels, they could have built the best Riviera, the best piece of land really in the world. And they have huge amount of tunnels. They use them to store their weapons. They use them to hide once. You know what? Speaking of collective punishment, when their people are bombed, in searching for the terrorists hide in the tunnels. And that's another reason why we need to send our soldiers, our troops. Someone asked me how many troops died in Gaza. If we wanted to just bomb the entire Gaza, we wouldn't send troops in to die, right? But we have tunnels there, and we have other challenges. I'm not sure exactly what was the question about the tunnels, and I'm not sure exactly what I answered, but I'm hoping it's sufficient.
All right, I have 2 more questions, and we'll go from here, and there's somebody who wants to talk to you. Okay, question for you. We look in the news, and Gaza is like 8 miles wide, 20 miles long. What are they going to do with all that garbage and rubble? I mean, it can't be dumped in the ocean. Is there inland garbage pits? How is it going to be cleaned up?
And why was it accumulated? That's the right. Wow, that's a new word for me. why was there so much rubble in Gaza? Now, I don't know who's gonna clear it from Gaza. I would guess it would be Israel, and I would guess Israel will have to pay for it. But if you restart Gaza now, so if you went to Gaza 3 years ago, you would run into a neighborhood with luxury houses and hotels and an amazing clean neighborhood. You'd ask, where am I now? And they would probably tell you a name of a refugee camp. They would tell you, we're in Sujaiya refugee camp right now. And when you were here, hearing the term refugee camps, you thought tents, right? The situation in Gaza as it was before the war kind of eternalized the conflict. Because we live in refugee camps, doesn't matter if people don't know that we live in luxury houses. But we live in refugee camps and we're all refugees, and it's the most dense place, most populated place in the world, and so and so and so. Restarting Gaza and building nice houses and no refugee camps anymore, giving them the best life they can dream of, knowing that this all could be gone one day if you start a war again, which is a stupid decision. But they're happy with it, Hamas. They're happy with the sacrifice they made. They're happy with killed babies in Gaza, obviously. But if you tell the others there, okay, look, you lost it all. We build it from scratch now, but don't lose it again, because now you have great buildings and great infrastructure. Maybe, just maybe, they will decide not to attack again. And you know what? Maybe to have their own independent state one day. I don't believe they will, but maybe one day.
Ron, I have one more question, and these gentlemen have something for your question concerning Iran. Last summer, the United States and Israel launched a major attack. Do you think all of their nuclear capabilities are gone? Or what? We don't know over here.
No,
how do you see it?
You're asking me as a representative of the Israeli government or the American government?
Your own personal opinion, none of
As
the
a
above.
soldier. As a soldier, I must say that I have no clue. I would suspect that their developing capabilities were ruined, but they still have some portion of enriched uranium that they can make something of, but a very small one.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Kim, come on up here. Tell us, Kim, who you are and what you have to say. And when he's done, we always close with final comments. So before you leave, you will be able to address all of us in ending. But tell us who you are and what you have.
Kim Queen, retired from the U.S. Army after 44 years, and I'm currently the Department of Wisconsin Commander for the Jewish War Veterans, the oldest veterans organization in the country. And on behalf of the Jewish War Veterans and all of our veterans in this room, we'd like to present you with something. Hold that. Here, you hold it. We have a challenge coin. This is an official United States Army 250-year commemorative coin. We'd like you to have it.
Thank you so much.
Use the mic.
Thank you. Say it again. Say it again.
Okay. On behalf of the Jewish War Veterans of Wisconsin and all of the veterans in this room, we'd like to present you with the official 250th anniversary of the United States Army challenge coin.
Thank you so much.
Hold it up. Hold it up.
Okay.
You guys show it like this.
Oh, show them? I don't think they'll see, but you see it?
Excellent eyes.
Okay. That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ron, I have one comment about our next meeting, but collect your thoughts, what you'd like to leave with us here. We have a hall full of people, and everybody look up here. Have a safe Christmas. Be careful. Come back in January the 19th for the new year. We'll let you know what the topic's going to be. So go home safely, everyone. And You've been a blessing to us. We could talk till midnight easily, but what do you want to leave with this room full of people here as we close tonight? Your final comments to us.
Oh,
You should have told me to prepare something. First, I want to say thank you for being so attentive, engaged. Attentive is not good, because it's the first time I'm using this word too. And supportive, and every time you have a question, like you did now, don't hesitate. We have a great Jewish community here. If you're not there to instigate, and if you're not there to pick up a fight, because we're Jews, we don't really fight. Ask questions, okay? I know that you rather get your information from TikTok or CNN, but come to us, and if you have kids who get their information from there, bring them to us, ask questions, and I'm sure Ken can share with you my contact details, and I'll be more than happy. You won't be my first non-Jewish friends. As you understand, most of my friends are priests, so please don't hesitate.